characteristics for each lane on this. So when you're playing tires on this side, and then apps on this side, they are called weak lanes because you can't look into B from those lanes directly. They're very push based, so you're basically going to be pushing the enemy from these positions, or yeah, pretty much. So they can't, or you'll be rotating back to B. Okay. Now, on contrary, lanes like garage, you can see directly into B, and you're basically in the lane like garage, you're juggling, helping Bravo, and managing your push from this position, right? So it's the same thing with here, with balcony. You're basically going to be helping B, you know, and then juggling people pushing you. So you have to keep it. All right, someone's echoing and it's really fucking bothering me. Who is that? Who is it? Okay. Because you're going to have to fix your shit. All right, so the big deal is, as a starter, I don't know how much you guys actually know about District, but the big thing about security side is that you need to use a lot of utility, okay? So ask yourself, what is Wooly calling utility here, okay? Utility is basically pre-fires and nades. So in a very preliminary insurgency, a lot of people would play like a street player, and the street player, you know, how many times have you guys played a pug where, especially when you guys were new, and I know a lot of you can relate to this because many of you have been new recently or are currently new, and they told you to just like watch this, right? So in a team setting, watching this from the start of the round is bad. And it's not necessarily because you're just watching this. It's mainly because you could be doing other shit to help your team before you do that, right? So like if I'm going to play in the street and I'm on security side, maybe I do this pre-fire right here, right? Before I actually do my thing that I want to do, okay? And this is very important on District, that everybody, no matter how good your gun skills are, that you learn this kind of stuff, because doing this kind of things can really help, right? So just say hypothetically you want to play two people balcony. This is a pretty common thing that we do. So we usually have one guy like come up here with a nade, and he does this pre-fire, this apps pre-fire right here, where he shoots through the wall and tries to kill people that run into apps. And then the other guy throws a nade up into the balcony, and then he plays door. He goes to door and he plays it. That way we have a balc nade that cuts off the balc rush. We have a apps nade or apps pre-fire, and then after the apps pre-fire, the guy who did it will throw a nade into cubby through the screen thing here, because it's not actually. Oh shit! I just bumped myself pretty hard. You just throw it out the window like that, and then it will explode in cubby if it's a nade. But yeah, so this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about with this map. Is like it's a lot of utility. Like it's a lot of. If you're not rushing something, you need to be doing something that's going to fuck the other team over. That's just a set play. And you don't even really have to be good to do the set plays as long as you know how to do them. So when you're doing the balcony, you can pull the nade halfway up the stairs, and that's actually the best way to do it. If you pull it like right here, you're not going to be able to throw it fast enough, and he's going to beat it. So you actually want to start cooking it like halfway up the stairs. So you basically want to like do this and make sure it blows up right there when you throw it. That way you're basically cooking it while you're walking up, because if you wait to get up here and then you start cooking it, you're basically like 2 seconds later than you would have been, and then he's going to beat it, and then you're going to throw that nade, it's going to explode, and he's going to be right here, and he's going to jump over this, and he's going to fuck your B guy, okay? That's what you don't want. So you really want to concentrate on protecting the B player. The B player is kind of a unique skill set because you need to realize what's being covered and what's not being covered, and it's just really B player is more about staying alive than it is about like taking fights and trying to win fights and that kind of stuff. Okay, so going back to balcony, if you're playing balcony, and I think this is probably the kind of role that I would think like VCT would want to play, because he's has experience in Counter Strike with his nades and pre-fires and shit like that.
Yeah.
So say when you go to the door, you want to be very managerial about how you peek different things, right? So a common mistake that a lot of new players make is they'll like, you want to peek something and you just have this huge broad peek that's where you're exposed to all these different areas. So you need to really be selective about what you want to expose yourself to, So like you're checking gay barrel, you just expose yourself to gay barrel. You're checking mid apartments, just check mid apartments. You check, then you want to check this. And then if you want to check cubby, you check this, right? That way you're not just like, running up somewhere to check something, right? If you get a call for cubby, just kind of like check if things around it and then move to cubby and look for him, right? Or maybe you just want to go straight for the kill. But that's how most people get killed in this game is, from a support player standpoint, is they don't check everything where they could be, or they'll do it too much at once, So you don't want to like, a common thing is like people peek from door and they look at here and they're actually in that window and the M16 blocks that window. It happens a lot to people I've seen. So you just want to be really mindful about how you play, that kind of thing. So as this kind of player, this is more of a position where you don't need to really rotate much. Like you shouldn't be last alive in here, but you're mostly just playing this power position where you don't really have to move. You're kind of just like a turret. That's what Gren does on our team. When Gren plays with us, he really doesn't have to move ever. He just kind of stands there and does what he does.
Yeah, so, I noticed that every single time I play with him. He's either always at dark or at Balk, which is really fucking annoying.
So when you're playing garage here on this side, it's very important. So there's a few different things you can do. You can kind of play near this barrel and see the window through the barrel. You can also play right here and kind of see into B a little bit. You can play on top of this generator. This generator is good because you're very protected. They really have to push into you very far to be able to kill you. And if you sit in an angle like this, you can see everyone in B and everyone in here. The main thing that I actually like to play garage a certain way, and I'll kind of show you guys how I like to do it. And Jims also contributes to some of this. I could say I've taught Jims a little bit, but Jims has also figured like a good amount by himself out that he's showed me that's actually been really useful as well. So, that's the one thing about a team that's really good is, once you kind of play together, you should never be afraid to like learn from each other. Like anybody can teach anybody. It doesn't matter, who's been playing longer or not, anything like that. So the big thing is that this is a very common spot that people like to rush, right? Because as you guys may know or may not know, right peeking is superior to left peeking in this game. So if you have a position where you're left peeking, I'm left peeking here, and he's right peeking here, he's going to kill me, especially because he's farther away from the wall. The farther away you are from the wall you're peeking in this game, the better, okay? If you're close to it, it's going to expose you more, and they're going to see more of you before you see more of them. Okay, that was just Party Cat. So he's got to go. Or be right back. So the big thing is, like, we play against Veritas a lot, right? Some teams will play a guy in the street, say like FGC. FGC always has Galthor, like right here, like always. So you're not really going to be able to do this against them, but against a team like Veritas or maybe VEA, they like to push this a lot. VEA likes to push balcony, actually. Veritas likes to push this. So the main thing here is that in this kind of position, you want to look for this kill early, right? So you want to look for this push. And if they don't push within a certain amount early, if they don't push, you want to look for the early push here because it's very common. If there's not an early push, you go to help B, right? You help B momentarily and you try to get kills, or you try to kill this apartments guy late. Because after you do this, like after you look for this early kill and your bout guy is pre-fired apartments, that apartments guy should be showing up to this window like right about now, right? Like right after you check that. So this is a good way to actually kill this guy once he goes in here late, if he decided per se to like delay his push up into here, right? So it's all about like this game, honestly, it's not even about like gun skill, it's just about systematic timing of things, right? So you just got to think about timings, like, okay, well, people, this is how the average round is going to play out, right? And I mean, most average rounds like play out exactly the same. And as long as you know how to like where to look and when to look at a certain place, you're going to have opportunities to get kills. The more chances you have to get kills, the more kills you'll get, no matter how good you are, right? So if you get this kill early here, if you kill this guy, you need to move into here. You need to push this, because this is going to make their team react to this. And if you kill him, that's going to prompt a rotation by their other players in these in other positions of the map who may have not been playing the street, because they're essentially down a player and now you've occupied a decent portion of the map, right? So they're not going to be able to afford to rotate another player out of a lane to go destroy you back here if your whole team is systematically playing semi-aggressively or making an effort to control things, because they're basically going to have to give up control of other parts of the map to go back to stop you, right? Unless this was an intentional like double trade, unless they have like two people here. So most teams really won't push two people unless it's Link's team is really the only team that does that. Our team does that too sometimes, but Link's team is the most common. So when you guys get to the point where you're scrimming and you're playing against Link's team specifically, you kind of want to look for these double pushes. So after you kill the first guy, you want to look for the second guy for another second. And if he's not there, then you want to go and push this, right? Another thing to keep in mind, this is another concept that's kind of like that. It's called counter rotating. It can be used in any lane. So this is a really in-depth competitive concept. But if you're playing Garage, I see a lot of pugs, a lot of Euro pugs actually, in particular, the Europeans. They're very campy as their style of play. And there's a lot of times when you're on a team and I see so many people that are last alive in Garage, right? And that's one thing that we really worked on with Gems when he joined the team, was like Gems is never last alive in Garage, which is insane because it's kind of the position where you would think most people will be last alive. The trick to this is that basically like once you hear, a few kills, you want to move. So think about like if your player on your team gets an entry kill, right? The way that works for most teams is that they have a player back here who does some kind of pre-fire, does some kind of nade like this one over this thing, and then basically does that. And so when their players die, if they lose a player in apartments or tires over here, or they lose a player on B, this guy is going to be moving, right? If he's a good player, he is going to react to what's going on and he's going to rotate to here, which is why pushing the street after a few people die on the other team, like once you're in a 3v3 situation or a 4v4, their guy that's guarding the street is going to move. And if they haven't early pushed, it's a good thing to do to just push this because they probably won't be here, right? So that's a really big thing you can do. You need to be careful, though, about right here because left peeking this is really bad. Slow left peeking is just not a good habit. So you generally, you kind of just want to fast pre-aim this and, decide if you're going to shoot or not. And then, usually sometimes I actually just run by it just because I don't think they can hit the shot sometimes. Like, I'll try to like make myself a really small target and then, just jump or something and just hope they miss because it's not a good peek. And then I'll actually run behind people or I'll like, run over here and go to C or something. Or you can really fuck with them, like go back through Barber and then right peek them from Barber. Or just when you jump over, right peek back. What's up?
You said Garage earlier today. And next to date night, you call that Garage or you call that date night or checkers? Or
This?
I call this date night, and then inside the room I call it checkers.
Oh,
You were
okay.
calling it garage.
Checkers
Sorry.
has been used, but this
Sorry.
is cafe.
This is cafe.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, cafe.
Yeah, but the lane is garage. Or like we consider that the lane garage.
Uh,
No, that's a S3 called out.
Yeah.
Cafe porch.
This right here. It's opposite of Gabriel. You can
Yeah, I know.
You can wall bang this too. That's what a lot of people don't know. If someone's like Gabriel, just fucking shoot this wall, and they'll die. Yeah, yeah, they'll fucking die. Like hit the corner. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I think I've kind of described this well enough from security. So security, you want to get into B. You want to get into B fairly early with at least one B player. We kind of play a certain style where we play two around B, even if one of them's not really on it. So when you go to B and you're running on, you throw a nade if you manage this right. So you basically like right click that over there, and it kind of lands like I guess that's too early for a frag. It's better, yeah, don't throw that frag. It's better to throw a smoke if you want to smoke. But so running into B, you always want to run the guy with like the best spawn should be going to B a lot actually. If just not everybody on the team needs to know how to play B, but I would say you need to have like 2 or 3 different people who know how to get on it right. So like on our team, everybody but Grin pretty much goes to B at some point. Like if Gems is a good spawn, even though he normally plays this, he'll like go to B and we'll leave that open. Or, me, I'll do it, or Kisses will do it, or King will do it. We'll take an M4 or MP5, some kind of like really light gun, and then just have a good spawn and, do whatever. So how you want to kind of approach B is you want to do the slide here to make sure you don't get hit by the pre-fire from there. And then once you get into here, you basically want to slide out from right here. So this is very important once you get here that they will come out of this room if it is not covered. You can also go this way. You can also slide to the left. It's like that. I'm not even doing it right. What the fuck? Should look like that. And then you kind of run through here. I always like my personal play that I like to do. It's not really the best play you can do, but what I like to do all the time is just literally run through right here because you're less visible to apartments. If you're closer, you'd like apartments players like to look over there a lot, and then you have a right peek on the students coming out of B, and you get here first. And then after you kill him, you can go up into here and then just really just do whatever you want to. Or hold, you can get in the cubby and you can just sit in a cubby and hold it. So you can also go to like weeds and play weeds.
What lanes does security get to first?
Balcony, kind of.
Yep,
It's all
'cause
spawn
it's the
dependent.
pre-fire for apps.
Mm-hmm. So the thing is that security is like they don't really get a lot of places like quote unquote first except B. Apartments is a pretty good advantage for security, and I'll show you why in a second. Security is mostly built around like pre-fires and playing B around the pre-fires. So basically what you want to do is security is you want to basically hold off these rushes and you want to play B and you want to pre-fire things so that they can't rush them and then, then make them play against you. Insurgents is more about like using your spawns to the best of their ability and rushing and keeping security off of B. Like you basically want to kill security's B people. It's kind of funny because like the most optimal way to play insurgent is probably not to play B a lot, and the most optimal way to play security is to play B a lot. And it's kind of funny like to say it like that because you would think, playing B would be good against people not playing B, or not playing B on insurgent would just be good against security because then you could kill their B players. But it's really a lot more complicated than that. It's mainly just about who can use the advantages of each side the best to win. So typically, so that's the way B works. I really like to have I like to do a lot of damage from B and then have people come on behind me. So have somebody that comes on, or King and Kisses play this a lot together, and I'll play kind of a support role behind them. So say like Kisses goes to this box and looks here, and he's not on the point, but he's near it, and then like King will run and try to get to their side of B to avoid getting naded, and he'll like look in here to kill Barber players. Yeah, so playing B, I mean, it's a pretty, you want to like, if your team's not really pre-firing tires, maybe you want to look here, or maybe if you're leaving apps open, maybe if you're the secondary B player, you go and lay like right here, and you want to kill them once they peek out of this window because you can barely see them in a sliver. Just kill them. Maybe you take two people and you play really aggressive on B, so you get to like right here, and then the other, or right here, and then the other guy is like, maybe he plays like off of the point on this, or he plays on, and you double cap, and then as you get it capped up really high, one of the guys moves off and tries to do damage, and the other guy stays on the point to cap the point. And that's one thing that really helps with us. I think like if you can get two guys on the point, they cap the point to 50%, like a lot faster than maybe they think it is, and then have one of those guys bleed off and try to kill people. The other team's going to be a lot of disarray because the point has been capping faster than they thought it was capping. So it's going to cap before, their estimated time. And the other guy is going to be able to go up. And if he's able to kill someone, like if he's able to run into Cubby and get one kill, it's going to throw their team off so much that they're basically like some of their main resources that they're going to have to use to kill your B player are going to be used to basically killing this guy who's running everywhere. And that's like what we build a lot of our strategies around is, like Grin and Gems kind of just kill. They're kind of support killers. And then me and Kisses and King all play the point together, basically, and we basically cap the point up and then bleed into the enemy. And then they, when me or like Kisses are running at your team and fucking killing you, and you can't kill B because if you look at B, Grin or Gems is going to kill you. It's just really fucking difficult. It's not even about like the skill of the players. It's just like the general way you set it up is good. But it's important that you can't do the same thing every round or it gets really predictable. So you have to change it up. And that's just like an in-game leader thing. Or like not even an in-game leader thing from a standpoint of a macro strategy, but also from, yourselves. You don't want to play your lane that you're playing the same way every time. That's one thing I heavily disagree with like Link on is Link, like when he made his team, he tells a lot of his players how to play their lanes. Down to the nail, and I like, I always thought that my players like should have some kind of adaptability. Like I don't really tell Grin exactly what to do every round. I tell Grin if he's playing support that he needs to do this, like, or not needs to do this, but this needs to be done. Like we need to shut down this lane, and he knows that how to contribute to that, but he also knows that he doesn't have to do the same thing every time, right? Okay, so going on to these other last two lanes here, you don't have to play both of these. Some teams play it more than others, but apartments and tires. So apartments, you can do this rush if you have like the MP5. If the enemy is, if you're pre-firing the enemy from dark window, they shouldn't be able to get here unless they are running a flanker to apartments. This is really good. It's doesn't work as much against VEA because they always run fast people to apartments, but some of the other teams it really works. And you can basically just go into apartments and either go to Cubby or you can run over here. And then once you get like to right here, you really don't need to move because you're in apartments and you control all of this, right? Like this is the area you control. They can't go up here now, and you're gonna kill anyone who comes to these windows. So this is good. Like once you get here, you call this out. So that means your bot player's like, oh, okay, I can look at this now. That's another concept is you need to look at your map a lot. I don't know if you have your map binded to anything. It might be like M, I think, or N. I think it actually is N. I have my map on control. I know that some of your crouch keys. My crouch key is shift, and my breathe is caps lock, which is kind of weird, but I did that in Battlefield 2 and I've always kind of done that. So, but I would just recommend that you make, I know a lot of you have shift as your breathe and your control as your crouch. So I'd recommend making caps lock or something close to your hand, maybe C, that does your normal whatever. If C is not your crouch button from whatever game you played, make C your map button. You want your map button to be very readily available to you. That way you can just tap it real quick and just look at it to see where everybody is. Okay, so big deal here is that these lanes are, you can rush both of these lanes and you can pre-fire both of these lanes. In apartments, you can do a pre-fire. Go right here. It's different on the FOV. You'll have to just play around with it personally. I play on 75 FOV, so it's this tiny crack right here, and you just aim to the right side. Yet, it does. Slightly. Yeah. Yeah, it does, because it's your FOV differs your thing. Like no, it's for this too, because everything's different. Like I don't think so, because so I'm looking. You sure? Are you positive?
Are
Yeah,
you
it's center
looking?
screen,
Look
center
at the
screen.
crack again.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. Maybe I tested it wrong last time.
Yeah, it'll change your HUD.
I'll be right back. I spelled shit on my keyboard.
If y'all want to see some crazy beat marker lineup shit, here you go. Oh,
Get the fuck out of
it
here.
didn't go. It didn't go off because it would clip through the wall.
What?
That is
How did you
ridiculous.
even figure that shit out, man?
Long story. I'll show you that later. That's kind of complicated. So the blowing up people with that, and I've showed people how to do that, and they can't do it because it's just so hard. I guess I had to do it hundreds of times. Gems can do it too. Apparently, no one else on the team can though. It's just yes, it's true. So the tires pre-fire, you can do it two ways. Basically, go up here, shoot this, or you can do it from this gate thing.
We don't do through the box.
You can. I don't know. I don't really do the gate that much. I usually do the truck. But so the way the tires works is that all right. So I don't know if you guys have read. I'm not even gonna bring up the book. Actually, it's in a book. But so there's this concept, right? It's called Yomi. So basically, it's about countering each other in games. It's in every game. It's in Counter-Strike. It's in fucking chess. It's in League. It's in every game there is. And basically, the concept of it is that you have a. So let's just say hypothetically, or not hypothetically. So when this game was older, about a year and a half ago, there was different things that came out. Right, obviously. The game a year ago wasn't anything like it is now. There wasn't as many pre-fires or nades. The game was dominated by people who could rush and who could aim well, and that was basically it. If you could rush people and you were good at it, you were gonna fucking kill people. Or if you could figure some kind of thing out, you were gonna be good at the game. So a lot of players, Bogey, Black Mamba, Infienda, Link, although Link did it with an assault, which made it less effective. Or actually, I think he did. He just didn't do it every round. But the people would take a flanker and they would rush the store. And this was before the jump change, before the jump deaccelerated you. So you used to be able to jump over a lot of this stuff and actually get faster, which meant that you would get to this door here before they actually got onto B in many cases. Now, obviously, you can't get here quite that fast anymore. A lot of people are already here if they have a good spawn once you get to the store because of the jump changes. but the concept remained the same. Getting to this door was a huge problem for teams, and so there were a few players that came up with counters to this. Most notably me, Lunatic, and Kungling, who invented some form of this pre-fire where we would run up on this truck or at the gate and shoot this preemptively to kill people who rushed it. That way, we would shut down people who were one-trick ponies on this map. And basically, that became the norm, and now everybody does that pre-fire to shut this down, right? So pretty much, this is another example. So you got to think about like, all right, well, so this move here that is getting to this door is called the M move, right? So it's like they get to the M move, and it's basically it's called master move, which means it's a move invented to basically dominate the game. The thing you do right here, it's called the C1, right? Which is the counter one, okay? Which means you shoot this. So the counter one is basically that. So the counter two, which is the second move of the M side, the counter two is basically this. It's what I do all the time. You basically are doing this, and you're running here, and you're sliding into here. That way you skip his pre-fire, but you get here a little bit later. But you're still like avoiding his counter, and you're beating him in this lane. Like if I get here and you're doing that pre-fire, I basically like won this lane, right? And so if you think the opponent is going to run the C2, then the best thing to do at the beginning of the round is to run your C3, which counters their C2, which means that you slide this box and you get to right here and you catch them before they come out. Now, if they were to run the M move right here, if they were to run the M move and get to this door and you were to rush that and, you know, with the C3, they would kill you, right? So that means that, you know, they kill you and then you lose. So if you're running the C3 and you're doing that, there is no C4, right? So you ask, like, what is the C4? There isn't a C4 because the M is the C4. The M counters the counter 3, right? So this is basically applicable in every lane if you dig deep enough.
So it's rock, paper, scissors with this.
Kind of, yeah. It's like it's every game too. Every game has this. In Overwatch, it was, you know, are they going to hold? Is their team going to be on the high ground? If they're on the high ground, that means we need to go, you know, flank them. If we're flanking them, but they're somewhere else, then we're screwed, right? It's just like every game has this concept. So, you know, basically, it's, do I need to do the thing that's really powerful? Are they going to counter it? Should I try to maybe like find a way to kill, you know, the guy who's pre-firing me? You know, anything like that. Like, you just want to think about, you know, you kind of want to determine, like, if you really think about what they're going to do before they actually do it and can figure it out. Like, okay, that's what I do with Link, like, all the time is when we scrim Link's team, we fucking beat the shit out of them sometimes because Link never goes the same place twice in a row. So he'll go here and then he won't go there again for like 2 rounds. So it's just a process of elimination. S3 was the same way. Back when S3 used to be really good, they would market. We beat them 9-3 on market in this game that was supposed to be like the best game of the season, season 7. We completely fucking destroyed them because basically the way they would work on their team is they double push shops, and then if double pushing shops doesn't work, they double push C Skinny or Barber, right? Or you know, say, yeah, C Skinny or shops or A Skinny. They just pick different things to push, and once something has been crossed out for them, they won't go back there again. I'll do a lot of crazy shit like with people. We'll push stuff twice in a row if we think that like they're smart enough to think that we won't do it again. We'll do it twice in a row to fuck with them, and then they'll just be mind fucked, right? So another important concept about like this kind of lanes here is that, so basically so you don't want to panic push. There's this thing in this game, it's called full speed or no speed. It's in Infienda's videos if you haven't watched them. Basically what it means is that, say I'm in tires, right, and apps dies, right? We play tires and apps. It's a big pug concept because in pugs everyone plays every lane, but it's also applicable in scrims to some point too. Basically, how this works is, so I have an opportunity, right, where I'm right here, and once that guy dies, I have to make a decision, right? I can either go kill him, or I can sit here and hope he comes to me. And there really is no good decision that's in between that. If you try to do things half-assed in this game, if you're like trying to kill this dude in apartments and you're like doing this, you're just wasting your time. You know what I'm saying? So you need to just like make a choice. Are you going to hold this area, or are you going to go get the kill? You know, kind of the thing. And there's not really a right or wrong answer. It's just, what do you want to do? Doing a big mistake by like a lot of new players is they try to always do something in between. There's always these people that like, they just waddle everywhere like this. And I'm not saying it's not okay to play slow. I really don't play slow. I play very fast, but there are a lot of good players who play slow, and it's fine. You just don't want to, you want to be decisive about what you're doing. You don't want to like limber around here and really not know why you're here or what you're trying to do. You want to make a quick decision all the time. A bad quick decision is better than no decision. If you don't make a choice in this game, if you're like Ganoda, how Ganoda used to play, where he would sit at the end of the game and wait for his team to die, and then you decide to move and do something, you're basically putting yourself in this insurmountable situation. Even if you make a bad choice earlier in the game, you still have a possibility to take advantage of an opponent's room for error, right? So if they make a mistake, you'll benefit from that if you make a bad choice instead of no choice. But if you make no choice,
At least you call them.
Huh?
At least you die and you call them out, and we'll be ready.
That's a good point too. So one thing that I've always done is I play tires a lot. Like tires is probably my best lane in the whole game. I played this the longest amount of time, probably, of any player. And it's always very important when I play security side, once I pre-fire and reload, if my apps guy dies, I immediately go into apps, and I'm trying to kill this apps guy because he already killed my dude, right? If you're in apps and you kill one person, if I go right here and he pushes me and I kill him, I'm going to go back to this window and look. I'm not going to pay any attention to some second dude, And if you look in this window and they're not here, they're usually over here once you come to refrag this guy, unless they're still in the middle, which they probably won't be. The best thing to do is just check this and then go back and you can shoot that, or you can just push all the way through. You can look here. But yeah, you just want to go kills, and this is kind of the same concept of like you're at, you want to like do the same thing over here. So if you're in garage and you're playing garage, you want to go up here and kill this guy. Okay. So I'm not going to go too much into detail about the other side right now. I think we've kind of used a lot of time going over this, but I've already been over tires to an extent. Apps is just really important. To get up here, don't get pre-fire early. If you're not on the stairs by like 38 seconds, you need to wait and let the pre-fire go off. Once you're up here, you probably need to go to the back and play to the back, or you need to move to the window and play the window. You don't want to take a left peek here. It's bad, or so. Balcony and garage, it's more so rushes. So you just want to take a good spawn and rush this. Same thing with balcony. Try to rush it and get over here to kill the B player. B, sometimes it's not a good idea to play B from arches, although you can. So, you can kind of sit here and pre-fire dark window. You can run onto T2 and go here. You can run to this spot, which is a really good spot. And then if you can like double stack tires and get your B player onto B from tires, you can go right here, which is a really good spot to play from. So, yeah, that's enough. Yeah, a lot of people nade in this arch too, so watch out for that. Like once one nade goes off in here, you're probably pretty good to like go and sit in here Most people don't throw 2 nades. So yeah, any questions? You guys want to play now?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fucking play. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
Let's play.
We doing this, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
take a piss. Be ready.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
gotta
talk
go to the
Penn.
bathroom
I
too.
can't join teams.
Let me talk to Penn for a second.